Welcome, everybody, to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. My name is Ross Benjamin. I'm your host. It's Tuesday, January 2nd, our first show of 2024. I hope each one of you out there had a very happy holiday season. And we move on and back to the real world of the everyday grind. And no better to talk about the everyday grind than us three. And my two esteemed guests, Mr. Jesse Schule and Mr. Sean Higgs, all three of us actually of gamblersworld.net, our sponsor site. So without further ado, Jesse, how was your holiday, my friend?
Oh, we had a great time over here, Ross. Was a little bit disappointed with the results of the Rose Bowl, and I got some nasty emails this morning because of it. I still had a winning day, though, and a winning week and a winning month. But, sometimes they don't like it when you lose a game, especially a big game like that.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's unfortunate, but most people's mentality in this that listen to us, that buy from us or watch us is what have you done for me lately instead of looking at the big picture. God forbid. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're spread all over the place. One day they like Jesse, the next day they like Sean, the next day they like Ross, and that's okay. Those three choices are pretty good. But when you start going and getting into guys you never heard of before and you're suffering losses, and then you take it out on us when you come to us and we lose a game like Jesse just alluded to, that's unfair, but it's part of the business. And we got big shoulders, right, Sean? And that's the reason why.
Yeah, we're gonna take. I mean, especially when we come on, we give our picks. We win, we lose. It is what it is. But I told Jesse, I was like, no matter how you do, you could go on having a great week. You guys less. So you guys go 7-3 for a week. You got somebody complain, oh man, tough week, we're down. What do you mean? How are you down? I gave you 10 plays, we won 7. A person, as much as they bias, they're going to still do things on their own. They might put he likes this game. I like that game. I'm going to put a little more on that one. I don't like that one. I'm not going to play it. I like this one. I'm going to do this on my own. That's the difference. And not just with when you purchase plays, but just as a discipline kind of betting.
Money management's too, right?
Yeah. We got bowl game on at noon today. We got to play it. Like, I don't want anything to do with that Wisconsin LSU game. Yes, I mean, no thanks. What have you seen out of either of those teams? You want to play with no quarterback for LSU? No, you don't have to play it. I don't know. And that's coming from a guy who puts out a lot of games.
Yeah.
But the average person they just want to have fun, right? It's like the commercial.
Yeah,
if you're having fun with friends, bet it's not. You're not having fun. You're betting money.
Yeah. Isn't it more fun to win? It's come on. Obviously, it's not, because you heard what Jesse just said with his nasty emails this morning. So somebody didn't have fun because they didn't win a game. I went 4-1 yesterday. Played all 5 bowl games and bet them pretty good. And the only loser I had was Texas. And Washington was a deserving winner there, even though they tried to blow the game at the end. But at the end of the day, even if Texas scored, Washington was going to cover that game. I used the Wisconsin LSU game over the total, Sean. I thought that was Whiskey and LSU, which ended up 35-31. They had 35 at the half, so I was quite pleased with that. I went with Oregon.
Oregon was easy. I had someone in the chat
yesterday.
It was like,
sides that won.
Liberty 6-0. They're going to win this one. I'm like, you are absolutely out of your mind. 6-0. Look up, it's 31-6 at the half.
You know what? See, this is where you can get too cute, because it almost scared me away to say this looks way too easy. I mean, then the number moved from 14.5 to 18, and it's like Liberty doesn't belong on the same field with this team, and I'm glad I didn't shy away there, because I would have been quite disappointed with myself. But we switched gears today. We're talking college basketball. And we got 3 good ones for you today. Jesse will be looking at Northwestern Illinois. Sean will be looking at Purdue in Maryland. And I'll be looking at Iowa and Wisconsin, all 3 games in the Big Ten Conference. And we get into conference action. And I don't know about you guys, but I always like to ramp it up a bit when we get back into conference action, because nothing's ever more predictable, but at least there's a more accurate gauge in which we could use when handicapping these games within conference, correct, Jesse, or no?
Yeah, I'm really excited to get right into conference play, and especially the Big Ten that we're covering today. And I might think about things a bit different than you guys, but the Big Ten that I'm used to handicapping, I see a lot of parity, a lot of close games, a lot of games decided by a bucket or two. And, I think that's what I expect to see in perhaps at least a few of the games that we're going to talk about here today.
Yeah, and Jesse, again, he's going to be looking at the Northwestern Illinois game. Stay tuned for that. Sean, you're going to be looking at a pretty good matchup here with Purdue and Maryland. I guess it's a good matchup only because it's on Maryland's home floor. Having said that, Maryland suffered some bad losses this year, Sean. And Purdue is Purdue. Purdue is one of the best teams in the country, and the rankings are indicative of that. But right now, we're looking at Purdue as a 6-point road favorite in a total 141. Tell the folks what you think of this matchup and ultimately who your free pick is going to be.
Yeah, so I mean, you mentioned some of the losses. They lost to who? Indiana, I think. Maryland. Listen, they're not. They're Maryland. They're going to be an all right club. This game here, though, I hate laying, but I'm gonna. And I did last night at a bad number. I got a 7.5 Purdue, and I probably should have waited because not the first, because they did lose to Northwestern as a road game, but Maryland has kind of, I don't say turned the page. They beat UCLA on the road. That's a nice little win. 19 straight home wins for the Terps. Last year, 2 close games. I don't know. I'm not a huge Purdue guy. Like, I think Arizona's a really good team. I think UConn's a really good team. Purdue, there's a lot of love for them. I'm not that high on them, but I think Matt Painter said something the other day. He's like, we haven't won on the road this year. And this is a team that's won on neutrals against other squads, right? I mean, they don't shy away from opponents. Gonzaga's, your Tennessees, or who else these guys play? I mean, they're Marquette. I'm going to lay it here. 6. There are some 6.5s. Find the best number. You shop around. I just think that they're a team that, even though they're ranked, I think they're the number 1 team in the land. The lines come down. That normally it's, hey, I want to run and fade that kind of squad. I think this is a team that's got to kind of prove to itself. When you're that good, you have to get your little motivation factor. You lost to them last year. You played a tough game at home. You lost last time here in the Big Ten. You go out on the road, and Northwestern gets you as a fave. I think they got to be fully focused here, and I'm expecting a good performance. I know the one guy, Young, I think is the kid's name on Maryland. He didn't play last game. He's supposed to play here. We'll see. I mean, I think maybe I'm hoping that's why the line came down, that he was kind of like hey, he might not play, and this is, well, he's playing, and it's 20 points a game or whatever, and here he comes. I'm still going to lay with Purdue. I'm going to back a little Boilermaker action here to start the year, I should say. But the basketball season has finally arrived. Right? We turn the calendar, we get all conference games now, and not a bunch of non-conference cupcakes. So I'm going Purdue. I'm going to lay with Purdue here.
Yeah, Purdue minus the 6 on the road at Maryland. And I mentioned Maryland's bad losses, and they're not horrible, but they're still games you expect them to win. On a neutral floor against Davidson as an 11.5-point favorite, they lose. Against UAB as a 6-point favorite on a neutral floor, they lose by 3. At Indiana, they lose by 12. So I mean, the Indiana loss I could live with. Then at Villanova, they didn't even compete. They lose 57-40. Having said that, what really sticks out to me is the fact they haven't lost at home yet, but they haven't faced the toughest of competition either on their home floor. South Alabama, Rider, Elkhorn State, Nicholls State, Coppin State, who's probably the worst team in all of college basketball at the Division I level. And their only win comes by 6 against Penn State, who's not a top 25 caliber team. And Purdue, like you said, Sean, they haven't won on the road, but they only played 1 road game, and that's at Northwestern, a game they lost 92-88. Anyway, Jesse, what's your thoughts on this game?
Well, Ross, normally when I think I have a different idea than one of you guys, I'm quite polite about it and diplomatic, but I can't be quite as diplomatic today because I jumped on this line right away, and I put out a play on Maryland. It's up on my Twitter and up on my YouTube. I just really like getting the points. Like I said, come conference play, my strategy. I notice in the Big Ten parity amongst the top 8-9 teams. I expect close games, and I think the history reflects that. Purdue lost at Maryland last year. Purdue has lost 4 straight at Maryland. They haven't won at Maryland since 2017. Maryland's getting the 7, I was getting the 7.5 on the early line. And Purdue, the number 1 ranked team in the country. I always like to go against the number 1 ranked team because I think there's a certain level of pressure that's attached to being ranked number 1. Teams like to pick off the number 1, and you see it quite often. We've already seen it once with this Purdue team when they lost at Northwestern. And Jameer Young, the leading scorer that Sean alluded to, he dropped 37 points on UCLA, and then he sat out against Fairleigh Dickinson in a game that they won by 30. I think if that game was against Purdue, he was playing. So it's not like I think he couldn't play. I think he sat out one game that they didn't need him for that game, and I expect him back today. His history favors the home dog in my opinion. So that's how I feel about that.
So as Jesse pronounced it, he likes Maryland.
Maryland.
Here we go.
Maryland.
Jess, and I'm with you because this is the spot where I'm usually on that Terp team, but I just can't get past of who Purdue has beaten so far this year. It's a who's who of teams. Yeah. Neutrals or not. I mean, Arizona, Alabama, Marquette, Tennessee, Gonzaga. That's not your Coppin states.
I guess my strategy is I kind of want to write off the non-conference stuff.
I understand.
Now we're in conference play. Yes. I want to sort of like just clean sheet, right? Like, okay, this is that was then, this is now, this is the Big Ten. You're at my house, kind of, and I guess we'll see how it unfolds. But
I'm not going to say it's not a good smart play taking conference home dogs. Just the level, the caliber of talent that they face is better. I think that's why they're the number 1 team, because they beat.
Well, and I think if you look at the standings year to year, the 10th best team in the Big Ten still has a winning record at home.
Yeah. Well, we talk about that all the time.
But is it a winning record at home in conference play, Jesse, or is it a winning record at home overall? Because as we're alluded to, I mean, you're looking at who they played at home so far: Maryland, Baltimore County, South Alabama, Rider, Nicholls State, Elkhorn State, Coppin State. So it's not exactly like Sean termed it.
I think somebody said they won 19 straight home games though, dating back to last year.
That could be, but then why are they a 6-point favorite? I agree with Sean on this one. Jesse, you make a good point. And again, our official pick is Jesse's pick, which is going to
Sean's pick.
Oh, Sean's pick. Excuse me.
He wants nothing to do with Purdue.
Yeah. So Sean is he's on Purdue -6 on the road against Maryland, and I agree with Sean. And Jesse is he makes a case. Maryland's had a strong home court over the last couple of years, and that's a telling factor. But when you're getting 6 points, but again, the thing that bothers me, Jess, I look at their shooting percentages offensively. They shot 35% against Indiana. They shot 34% against Penn State. They shot 35% against Nicholls State, 24% in the game at Villanova. So we'll see. I mean, and the last I checked, Purdue is pretty good defensively. And again, Purdue puts up a lot of points too. So it's very, I mean, you look at Purdue, again, some of the games that Sean just mentioned, they put up 92 on Arizona. They put up 92 on Alabama, 87 on Iowa, 78 against Marquette. It's 71 against Tennessee on a neutral floor. Tennessee is an extremely good defensive team, and 73 against Gonzaga. So we'll see. It's an interesting and intriguing matchup, and I think this will tell us more how well Maryland will compete as opposed to how good Purdue is, because we know Purdue is good. Win or lose this game, they're going to be a factor at the end of the day. But is Maryland going to be able to compete in the Big Ten. I know it's a long season yet, but this certainly will go a long way in telling us as such. All right, so Jesse, back to the Big Ten. Your game is going to be the Northwestern Wildcats against the Illinois Illini. The game at Illinois, 6-point favorite for the home team. Now, when you look at this and before you say, wow, Illinois is only minus 11, their leading scorer and All-American, Shannon, has some pretty serious charges against him right now for rape. Jesse, take it away. I'll let you tell the rest of the story.
We're not supposed to say the R word here on YouTube, Ross. You get in trouble for that. But yeah, Shannon's got some legal troubles, and it doesn't sound like something that's going to resolve itself anytime soon. He's been arrested. It's not just an accusation. He's actually been arrested. So he's probably not going to be back with this team. And it's a huge loss.
Let me ask you a question before we get going. You're telling me that YouTube forbids the word rape on their channels?
And murder and kill and death and a bunch of other words, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just reporting what the media is telling me.
Can't do
He's
that.
been arrested for rape. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, you can't even say that this guy got murdered or something. That would be it. Since we're already butchering the rules, and the other YouTubers, Ross, they use like the M word and the R word and like stuff like that.
Well, that's news to me. I'll be cognizant of that going forward. I mean, I hear it
2024 words.
I hear it on the national news every day. And that's broadcast to a hell of a lot more people than we talk to. Anyway, go ahead, Jesse.
So, yeah, I mean, Shannon averages 23 points per game. He's a 40% three-point shooter. They don't really have anybody. It's not like the next closest guy's averaging 17, 18 points per game. He's been doing the bulk of their scoring. It's definitely going to hurt this Illinois team. And you've got a Northwestern team coming in that did upset the number one ranked Purdue Boilermakers already this season. Northwestern finished near the top of the Big Ten last year, sort of quietly, unexpectedly. I think right at the end of the year, they sort of creeped up near the top of the standings. They got Boo Buie back, and they got the majority of the starters from last year's team. I think they're highly competitive. Last year, the last time they played the Illini, they lost 66-62. I believe that Illinois has won 9 of the last 10 head-to-head meetings, but they've failed to cover in 5 straight head-to-head meetings. Getting a bunch of points with a team that's just adjusting to losing their leading scorer. I think it's a tough game for Illinois. I like the dog. I'll take Northwestern.
Northwestern plus the 6 at Illinois is Jesse's pick and our official pick on this game, but we're going to give our opinions. Sean, Illinois is coming off a win over my favorite school, Fairly Ridiculous, otherwise known as Farley Dickinson. Sorry, people. Anyway, Sean, your take on this one?
Yeah, you gotta look at Northwestern here. I mean, Illinois is just gonna be bombarded with questions over everything, and I feel bad for the kid. Yeah, he was charged. They took him into custody. Again, you got to let it play out. You hate, anything now. You just say something, and everybody assumes the worst. You don't know. Things. I feel bad for what's involved. I don't know. It's what do you? I don't even know what to talk about it. Anyway, Northwestern, too much outside stuff for the kids there, and coach questions to be answered. Maybe they just want to maybe off a little bit. Northwestern's tough. They beat Purdue. They got to feel, hey, we can beat anybody. We beat the number one team.
Yeah,
go in here, maybe steal one, keep it close. Covered 5 in a row.
This is a Northwestern team that, not like Jesse alluded to, knocked off Purdue at home 92-88 as a 5-point dog, and then 2 games later, they lose to Chicago State 75-73 as a 24.5-point favorite. And those of you who are avid college basketball followers know that Chicago State has been amongst the worst teams in college basketball over the last few years. That's not a shot at the school. It's just stating the facts. So in any event, this is a tough one for me. This is a kind of game that I sit and watch, considering the fact that what's going on with the Illini. They're still a 6-point home favorite. Northwestern, we saw their best games. Beating Purdue, and then we saw their worst, Chicago State. But they got it going over at Northwestern. I mean, they're off to a 10-2 start. We'll see how they fare in conference play. But this will tell us a lot, guys, about Illinois. How could I say this? Because it's going to sound like a contradiction. I wouldn't overreact to this Illinois result tonight if they lose or they get by, squeak by, because it's sort of they're in shock syndrome, Jesse, in terms of, having to deal with a situation they didn't foresee coming. Illinois, the athletic department showed this kid no leeway, because they may have looked at the evidence and the evidence was shared with them. And usually at times they'll at least let this go through the due process. But they elected emphatically, and they were strongly against what happened. And so we'll see what happens. Anyway, Jesse, the pick for you is going to be on Northwestern +6 against Illinois. Jesse, tell the folks a little bit about how you've been doing of late and what you got coming up, or what you foresee coming up this week. And it's the last week of the NFL regular season. Share it with us, my man.
Yeah, well, college hoops is definitely heating up. I'm right behind Ross, right there, trying to take down my man Ross for the title on the gamblersworld.net site. 21-8 with my last 20, or over the last 30 days, I believe, with college hoops. 12-2 with my last 14 college basketball sides. Feeling really good about conference play heating up here. Also 6-1 with my last 7 bowl games. I really should have just avoided those before Christmas bowls, because red hot since Christmas with the bowl games. Looking forward to 2024.
All right, so there you have it, Jesse Schule over at over at gamblersworld.net. He is at jesseschule.com as well, but we prefer you go to gamblersworld.net because they are a sponsor on this show. And Jesse, like he said, coming on late with his college football bowl games, albeit we only have one left to play in the college football championship game, which, by the way, folks, we'll have the side, we'll have the total, we'll have a first half bet. We'll have some prop plays on the championship game on our live show Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Don't forget to tune in for that. And you can chime in also with your questions and comments. Sean, bring the people up to speed a little bit about what's going on with Sean Higgs at gamblersworld.net, and tell them what you foresee may be coming up.
I got to agree with Jesse about these early bowl games. 5-8 early bowls. I go, and now I'm on 11-4 run. 2-1 yesterday. Michigan, Washington, and the under there. But man, those early bowls really got me. NFL having a good season. Although December wasn't good. It was a 500 December. I could not get out of my own way. I went 5-6, I think, this weekend, and whatever. I don't care. We have I got 6 games already up for the final week of the year, the most dangerous time. I don't care. I'm not scared. College basketball, a few games under 500. I got my work to do there. NBA, though, I've doing okay on the site with NBA and limited NHL. So that's what we're going to focus on. Try to find some spots there. Maybe a game in a week or two. We'll see how we do. But football coming to an end. It's all right. I believe that I'll do all right there in NBA and NHL. I'm not as voluminous as my college basketball, which has not been on track yet, but let's go. It's 2024, new month, new year, new day. So, I don't know. All right. What's there to say, Ross? The leaderboard's right there. I'm not on it for that. I'm on it for the other ones. It is what it is. It's tough winning every one. It's tough.
I'm laughing only because it's Sean's a very humble guy. He does extremely well, folks, especially for a volume handicapper. And he gets really uncomfortable to a degree talking about himself. I don't want to. So I'll do it for him.
Don't do that. You're gonna throw the jinx on me. Look, I'll say all right. So I think I'm number 3 on the ice because I wrote it down. Number 3 on the ice and number 3 in NBA. Number 1 number 2 NFL and number 1 college football on Ross. There we go. I said it.
Yes, it is a new year. And Jesse, just to let you know, because you said with the slate gets wiped clean, I started out 4-1, but still 364 days to go in a year. And I got to prove myself after finishing number 1 in 2023. I was not happy the last 2 days of the year. I was terrible over the weekend, but I did bounce back with a 4-1 yesterday. And let me talk about my game here. It's between the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Wisconsin Badgers, 7 o'clock Eastern time start. By the way, myself and Jesse's game will be aired on the Big Ten Network, and Sean's game will be on Peacock if you subscribe to Peacock.
Is it really?
Yes. It's it's like the Bills game. Was the last Bills game on Peacock? I'm tired of these streaming services trying to force you to buy a month from them just so you could watch one game in any event. And then they wonder why people use illegal services to try to get these games. It's amazing. Anyway.
Stop saying that. Another flag here on the channel today with that comment.
Yeah, well, what can I say?
Go all in, get it demonetized today. No views today. Shadow banned.
We got rid of the monetized stuff a long time ago because people get irritated with the ads, and quite frankly, we don't make a lot of money with that anyway. So now I really spilled it all out. So Jim, our owner, he's cringing as I speak, but that's nothing new. I make Jim cringe a lot, as well as my guest on the show at times, and that's me. That's outspokenness has never been my weakest attribute. Anyway, getting back to the matters at hand, Wisconsin is -5.5 and 152.5 in this game. A real contrast to styles. It's always has been since Fran McCaffrey's come at Iowa and Wisconsin, going back to the Bo Ryan days, a very plodding, slow tempo, offensive type of team. But that doesn't automatically mean that there's going to be low scoring games all the time with Iowa. Or Wisconsin, excuse me. Iowa, number 22 in offensive efficiency, scoring 115.7 points per 100 offensive possessions. Number 14 in tempo. Number 6 in time of possessions. Iowa takes an average of 14.6 seconds with their offensive possessions, which is astronomically fast. And Wisconsin, on the other hand, the exact opposite. They rank near the bottom in time of possession and tempo in terms of offensively. But the other thing here, too, is Iowa. You look at, they played 3 true road games this year, and they did face pretty good competition in Iowa State, Purdue, and also Creighton. I mean, if you look at KenPom right now, who I trust their rankings a lot more than the pollsters, all 3 of those teams are ranked in the top 17, but that's great. But they lost all 3, and they gave up 87, 90, and 82 points in those 3 losses. And there are only 3 true road games of the year. On top of that, those 3 teams shot 51.6%, 52.3%, and 53.3% against Iowa. And that goes a long way in why they gave up that many points, and it also goes a long way in why they lost those games. Wisconsin's high. Now, here's the thing. Wisconsin's highest total this year is 143, and that was at Arizona. And now this is 152.5. They're begging you to take the under here. Now, Wisconsin, they might play a slow plotting type of offensive style, but they're 6-1 at home and averaging 79 points per game. And I mentioned that Arizona game, despite the fact that they like to play slow, Arizona was able to speed them up to the pace they wanted to play at, and they gave up 98 points in that game. So I like this game to go over the total. I just think, right off the bat, you look at this total, guys, and you say 152.5 in a Wisconsin game, I got to go under. I think this opened at 154, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to go over 152.5, Jesse. Your take?
Yeah, I thought I saw 155 at opening, actually, and it really caught my eye, and I didn't bet on it. I'm a little bit gun shy with both these teams, Wisconsin and Iowa. Obviously, Iowa doesn't look as good as they have been in past seasons, And you mentioned Wisconsin playing the slow plodding style, but it seems to me that they have indicated that they can play a little faster at times this year. So I'm a little hesitant to go all in on Wisconsin unders, which is where I would tend to look. I did glance at the history between these two teams, though, and 8 of the last 9 meetings have gone under 151 points. And the one game that went over needed overtime to get over. Like I said, though, I've noticed this isn't your uncle's Wisconsin team. So 2 teams that I want to see a little bit more of before I want to get involved in any bets.
Yeah, and you make a good point with the history in the series, because the numbers have all been amped up compared to what Wisconsin normally sees as totals when they play Iowa, and it's a lot to do with Iowa and their style of play. The difference, though, Sean, to me, in this Wisconsin team compared to past Wisconsin teams is they're not a shutdown defensive team. Those past Wisconsin teams played a plotting style and also held teams historically below 40% shooting for the year. That's not the case here. With I don't think this is that type of team where we're going to be looking at late February, early March and talking about Wisconsin holding opponents to less than 40% for the year. Anyway, your take, Sean?
Good takes there with Wisconsin, because you've seen them. They played the 65-60 kind of game versus Virginia. Was that 65-40?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like an anomaly, because most of their games, they're even scoring in the 70s now. And you look at the Arizona, that's the kind of game I was going to run up and down the court. So that's that. It's not, hey, we're going to play our game. This Iowa team's not good. They're going to run, make their shots, because even though they're losing games, they're still putting the ball in. They're putting up 80 points a game. The total, yeah. We've all saw different openers. I saw 153.5. But that's like one of those numbers where it's like you have to just go opposite of what you're thinking. Like, why is it so high? It's like the old 50s in NFL and 70 college football totals. You're like, pulls your head back a bit, especially with a Wisconsin team who's, what do you think, maybe 75-70 or something like that? That'd still be under this number, and that'd be a high-scoring game for them. So I'm with you with the lean there on the over in this matchup.
Yeah, I won't be using this as one of my premium plays, but again, these are assigned picks, and folks, we do the very best we can to put you in the winner's circle, with no pun intended, when it comes to our free picks, and we've done a good job of doing that over the last few months, or last few years, excuse me, if you've been following our show. In any event, for our pay selections, go to Winner's Circle, and also, gamblersworld.net. That's our sponsor site. It's there where you'll find not only us 3, but 7 other great handicappers, and where we give you our personal guarantee that if you don't win, you don't make a profit on all single game, multi-game daily packages or subscription plans of 30 days or fewer. We will credit your account back the exact amount of which you paid for that specific package. So there you have it, gamblersworld.net. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll see a black subscribe button right underneath us if you're watching on your mobile device or on your smart TV. Just click on that. It's absolutely free to do so, folks. There's no subscription plans. There's no hidden agenda. There's no surprise asking you for money. It's absolutely free, and why wouldn't you subscribe if it's absolutely free and you get some of the best sports betting information you'll find anywhere on the internet today. Also, there's a like button, and Jesse, tell the folks a little bit about what they should do with the like button that they see underneath it.
Smash that like button.
You know, Jesse just wanted to use one word instead of telling us a little bit about it. He just said to smash it, and that's okay. I'm saying if you smash it, that's great. If you just touch it, that's great, because it's a small token of your appreciation for the time, work, and effort we put into giving you a quality podcast 6 times a week right here on this channel, folks. Jesse and Sean will be back with us tomorrow. That's Wednesday. We'll be discussing more college basketball at that time. I'll be back later this afternoon with Paul Bovey. We got a couple good NFL matchups with playoff implications going, namely the Bills and Dolphins that Paul will be talking about, which is the most highly anticipated game of the week. But until then, for Jesse Schule Sean Higgs and Ross Benjamin. Take care and God bless, folks.